You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast on the We Are Libertarians Network. I'm your host, Jeremiah Morrell, and as always, I'm joined by our co-host, Dakota Davis.
Once again, the very first episode of a 3-episode week for us.
It's like a big story arc.
Yeah.
You're going to be so tired of me. I've already ruined your day. We'll get into that in a minute. But, yeah. All right. So this is our show. Believe it or not, it's our show, Dakota, about our lives in rural Indiana. It's a show about folks who are involved in politics, and we promise that our episodes are going to be a fun and an easy listen. We interview people who are influencers, elected officials, political experts, and folks we just find interesting. In the third chair, we have returning co-host, my baby brother, Danny Morrell.
Hey, guys.
How we doing?
Lovely.
You got all kinds of stuff for us tonight?
Yeah, lots of notes.
Lots of notes.
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
Trying.
Ready to go.
Yeah, but I wrote them in cursive, so I don't know if that'll be able to read it.
That's all right. We'll just tell some stories about last night, and we'll have some fun.
We can do that.
We had a bro night, a bro date night, so we'll get into that in a minute.
Okay.
And then in the other chair, we have our second Republican candidate for county council in Henry County, District 1, the open seat, Mr. Adam Bowman. He's arm wrestling Ken and Gray for the chance to fight me in November. Yeah. Welcome to the show, man.
Welcome, everyone.
Yeah. This is cool.
I enjoy it.
First podcast?
It is my first podcast.
Are you a big podcast listener? Do you get to listen to that or any of that stuff? Or
I try.
Yeah.
4 kids, kind of stay pretty busy.
Yeah, well, that sounds like it. Yeah,
I always say I'm an unpaid Uber driver.
Oh, that's a really good way to put that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's
my kids,
pretty funny.
They're very good about telling you where to go.
Yeah.
And probably telling you about and unhappy about your service. But you usually don't get
5
any
stars,
tips.
please. 5 stars.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you if they tip very well.
No, they don't.
No?
It's usually kids are very expensive.
What kind of minivan do you drive?
Honda.
Of course.
Yeah.
See,
automatic doors got to have
with
them.
the day job. Your Honda is the choice.
Yes.
So
Yes.
hopefully there's a nice sweet discount in the supply chain over there.
They treat
An
us very
incentive,
fairly.
yeah.
They treat us very fairly.
Yeah.
Just for the
that's good.
seats. You just get discount for the seats?
Yeah, I mean, like our sister plant in Alabama actually makes the seats for the Odyssey. We make more of the Civic and the CRV. But yeah, it's kind of cool.
Well, very cool.
It's neat.
So we'll interview Adam here and get to know him a little bit. I think you were the very first candidate in the race. Actually, you got to the starting line first. You filed. And
I did file. Yeah,
got out there.
I did. I had something I wanted to do.
Yep.
For a long time. Dick Bauslog.
You were just waiting on him to give up.
I was.
Get out of the way.
Mean, an inspirational principal to many.
Yeah.
And a really cool person, and lives down the road from me. And I always told him my aspirations were to have his job. I just didn't want to run against him.
Sure.
So
I tried once. It didn't hurt. It was fine.
Yeah, I mean, he was a wonderful man. But I've kind of put my name in the hat. I've always wanted to do that. And as soon as the opportunity arose, I did it.
Well, very cool. All right. So we're supposed to recap, Dakota, our week and our weekend.
Yeah,
and we're
there's
supposed
not
to be,
really recap.
We're promoting the tinfoil time. The Earth Has Two Suns. I assume that's available for the Patreon subscribers now.
It is not. Somebody deleted it from the side recorder's SD card. I discovered that. I was, Patreon subscribers. We had a really, really good episode. It was about the Earth having two suns. We pre-recorded it because we knew that this week was going to be very busy, and neither one of us were going to have the time to sit down in here and record another podcast. So today, I get on there, and I'm like, I need to upload this to the Patreon feed. I start rifling through the folders that come on the side recorder's SD card there, and
nothing.
It's not there. All the folders are empty.
We had a problem with the Betsy Mills episode where we filled our side recorder.
Yeah.
We filled it up, and it stopped halfway through, and we had a panic, and it took me about 2 hours to edit that back together from 3 different files to make that work. So I swore to myself we'll never let that happen again. So I take the file I need, and I copy it to the computer, and then I deleted everything off of the SD card.
Yep. Well, Danny, I want you to think about this for a minute. There were 89 files on that whenever it got full.
Mm-hmm.
How many do you think were on it in the 2 weeks after the Betsy Mills episode?
Probably 10. I remember about 10. But I don't know how long they were. You could have just let it run. I didn't check.
What happened?
It's a process. I copied what I needed and deleted it.
Oh, that sounds like growing up. He doesn't need that. This is mine.
It's like being a baby brother, yeah. Dakota got the Jer treatment.
Yep.
So, I put a process in. You're in the process business.
I am.
You guys have, you do step 1, step 2, step 3.
Try to.
And then you learn from your mistakes. And when something fills up, you're like, no, we'll carry no inventory at all. We're going to get rid of everything.
Yeah, I usually say, I found out what that button does, and we're not going to do that again.
You know, with the right supplier, we could make sure you don't run out of inventory.
That's a good plug there, yes. We should
Is this
work
a sales
together then.
pitch?
Yes, always sales pitch.
Gross.
Always be selling. Yeah. How dare you be political? By the way, I heard that some of the people received their Eric the Turkey t-shirts today, so those have arrived. But we won't sell anything on this show.
Nope.
It would be wrong.
It would be inherently
very wrong.
We learned that from the Eric the Turkey mishap.
Yes.
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul, yes. I got yelled at. I took down the memorial that people had put up because I was like, I don't want the city to start mowing and have to, have that be in the way or be accused of littering because I was complicit with putting a couple of the items out there. Not all of them.
Down?
But I took it down on Friday. It had been a week, and I felt bad about the Barbara Bush things. I was like, no,
don't want to compete.
It's probably time.
Don't
it's been
compete.
A week. A week of mourning for the turkey was enough, so I took them down. And then I had like 3 people go, I tried to find that. Christy Avery drove through Newcastle and tried to find it. Our Patreon supporter, and my future mother-in-law came through town and wanted to see it and couldn't find it. I felt bad.
Should have waited.
It's quite this.
But I mean, it was out there for a week.
Yeah.
How long? How long do you have to?
I'm not sure there's a lot of precedence for turkey funerals. So
True.
I don't know. It'd be more of a trend-setting adventure.
Yeah, I think a week is appropriate. I don't know. Do you have an official position on that as a possible future councilman?
I think turkeys are all right.
Yeah. But as far as turkey funerals?
Yeah, maybe 7 days.
Yeah. I feel like we should have maybe invited the mayor to speak at something. I don't know.
That would have been
maybe
great.
A couple of the commissioners.
Yeah, like a roadside.
And DNR. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was quite the talk of the town for a while.
Yeah, Elizabeth Potter's watching the live chat now, and she says that the city was mowing on Monday, so we did time it just about right. They would have been gone, so I think we did the right thing.
You would have that chopped up stovetop stuffing.
Yeah.
That would have been gross.
Yeah,
I think it was probably gross anyway after
It
having
probably
been left
would've
out in the
been,
rain for days.
All soggy and nasty.
Exactly.
You
Maybe
could have spread it out.
I've got the
geese
box
would
in
have
the back
came
of
in.
I think if the box is in my garage, we probably could put that on eBay. And if anybody wants Eric the turkey stovetop stuffing for their museum, we can donate to the Historical Society or something.
No, it's way too early. You got to let that sit.
We'll let it wait.
Yeah, bringing it out right now would be kind of pretty.
Yeah, it'd be wrong.
Yeah.
It's too early.
In other news, Danny, I went
soon.
down to Rush County last week, and I came home with a box of Flutie Flakes. So I know
Flutie?
that's Flutie Flakes.
What's that?
Doug Flutie? Really?
Yeah, I've got the Flutie Flakes. They've got some Peyton Manning Wheaties for you at the parents' house, but
That face.
They might
so
still be good. I'm trying to math wise. Okay, I'm probably about 14 years old.
there were 3 items in our family's house.
And you got the
growing up.
first pick.
No, there were 3 items. There was a Don Shula 325th anniversary Coke can.
I remember when Mom drank that.
And our mother drank it, and
That was ultimate.
she was pissy about. She was very mad that it was flat and tasted terrible because it had been on the shelf for like 10 years.
She drank it in like 2002, and it was from 93.
Yeah.
Expectations.
Oh my gosh.
It was a commemorative can, and she was that did not go over well for anybody in the house. And then there were these 2 boxes of cereal, and my parents were trying to unload stuff, and I was the good son and went down there a couple weeks ago, and I came home with my choice. I had the choice, and I said, I'm going to take the Flutie Flakes, but I got to hide those because he's going to try to steal them from me.
You said Flutie Flakes. I thought that you like had mumbled and you meant to say like fruity.
No, I would never. Nobody cares about a box of Fruity Flakes.
Yeah.
No, that's not entirely true.
Doug Flutie was he had a career that lasted like my entire life. Like he was in college when I was in. How old are you, Adam?
I am 38.
You're 38. I'm 34. So yeah, when I was born, basically, you were about 3 or 4 years old. He was playing for Boston College, and he had this
throw.
This half court, half field.
He was a
touchdown.
Heisman winner, wasn't he?
I don't know if he ever won a Heisman or not. I know he was a short little guy.
I
He was a
know.
short little-
He's
he was
tiny.
northern,
He's like
yeah.
5'7", but
Yeah, so he had this throw that turned into a touchdown to win a game for Boston College in the early 80s. And then he really didn't do anything in the NFL, played for the Bears, went to Canada, came back, made the Buffalo Bills, and had just like a ridiculous
96 to 2000.
Yeah,
played
couple
really well.
of years where he was like the feel good story. Kurt Warner before Kurt Warner.
Well, and then he went on to San Diego and played for a few years.
Played a few years in San Diego, and then, of course, you wanted to talk about Doug Flutie tonight. I know this is what you planned on.
Then he went to ESPN.
And but then he his last game, I think he played for the Patriots, and he made an extra point. The drop kick, yeah.
Wow.
A weird, just the weirdest thing in the NFL rules. He was like 40 at the time, and now he does color. So there's your Doug Flutie story.
All right. Well,
that's why we have.
I know that
Flakes.
it's not just your speech impediment coming out.
No, I don't have one. We filled up all the time we had to plug the Patreon there, but we do need to thank some people. We got to thank Mike Broyles.
Yeah, we need
he
to
joined
give a
this
shout
week.
out to him.
So we thank him, and he prepaid for the year. Man.
Yeah,
we're
prepaid
set.
$10 for
He's at the
$10
$10 level. Big old check showed up. So Danny, you went down to Rush County with me last night. Tell me, there were two pieces of information we got out of it. One was somewhat political, and then the other one was the racing stories.
Mm-hmm.
So the political side, do you remember what we heard from John McCain, the economic development dude?
I remember speaking to him.
Yes.
I know that he went to the State House.
Yeah, he met with the governor.
Yeah.
Along with Mayor York
Mm-hmm.
and the mayor of Rushville, Mike Pavey, and the mayor of Greensburg, who is somebody I don't remember now. And they met with Tom Saunders and Gene Lysing, and they're trying to get State Road 3 improved for TS Tech to take the trucks quicker.
A long-term goal for 2 lanes.
All
yes,
the way down, the way down to Greensburg. So they had their preliminary meeting. So that's some breaking news from the Boss Hog folks as a news gathering partner.
Yep.
The other big story though, Danny, is we hung out with Tony Stewart last night.
Oh. Well, we were close. We didn't hang out. We were closer to his fiance, actually. Penelope?
Yeah.
So
she had a headlight on her hand, man.
If he wasn't a race car driver, I don't think they'd be together. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm sure it's true love.
She was either going to be with somebody like Tony Stewart or like a 65-year-old man that might have a fair amount of money.
One of the two.
One of the two.
Could go either way.
Oh, that's good. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, but it was really enjoyable. Tony Stewart was a pretty funny guy. Seemed really likable, down to earth, very at home. Seemed really engaged with the Rush County area. You never know how big people's heads get, but
is he still racing?
Just midgets and sprint cars.
Okay, he's not in NASCAR anymore.
No,
he's a Cup Series owner, but he doesn't race himself at that level.
Okay. That's really a question for Chase Payton on the sports desk, but he's not here tonight.
I thought I was a sports desk.
Oh, are you?
You share it.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Okay. Well,
you want to watch the basketball tomorrow. Chase is going to be on the desk on Wednesday night.
It's called research.
He'll be reporting scores for us. So anyway, Tony Stewart, any stories you want to tell, or just like, yeah, you should show up?
No, one thing that I thought really was funny is as soon as he started speaking, or sitting up there with Donald Davidson, somebody had parked their car illegally, and Tony Stewart had to announce the guy's name, license plate number, and say, hey, you need to move your car because you're getting ready to be towed. I didn't realize that he had set the fastest rookie record during his, being
his
certified.
ROP, his rookie orientation. It was 96. They still had, at the time, turbochargers. They've got them back now, but they didn't have a pop-up valve on there. Mm-hmm. So he said, he went through his rookie orientation, and there's 4 different stages you go through, and you have to do 10 laps at like 190, 10 laps at 200, 210, and then you do 10 laps as basically above 220.
But you don't park illegally.
No, you don't park illegally. Oh. But he said the dude, his chief mechanic, basically grabbed his car and pushed on the little pop-off valve or the boost button and just turned it and said, "Go have fun." And he cranked out he cranked out laps at 237.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Which was 3 miles an hour faster than the track record at the time. Yeah. Ari Leindyke wound up setting the track record that year anyway. The 4-lap record. It wasn't Tony, but it was unbelievable. So yeah, he passed rookie orientation with a new track record. Cool stories.
Yeah.
So that was that.
And then the Rushville gambling. In the
we heard all kinds of stuff. Apparently, they used to, out of the Knights of Columbus, they used to have Donald Davidson was telling stories back in the 70s. They had blackjack, and Jerry Sneva was who's Tom Sneva's brother, Indy 500 winner in the early 80s. Jerry Sneva went down there.
He is autistic.
You're welcome. He won he borrowed like $600 from Donald Davidson. and lost it all at the blackjack table down there in Rushville. And said, "I'll get you back after the race," and he did. He said the Tuesday after the race, he peeled off $600 and gave it to Donald.
You wonder what the house kept in Rushville at the time.
Well, and gambling, it was not. Rushville never had a casino, but as Donald said, the sheriff was there and the police chief was there and the mayor was there. I guess it's okay. I guess we can go. We can play.
There you go.
So, it seemed fine to them at the time.
Adam, are you a blackjack man or?
I'm not.
No?
Yeah, counting to 21 is good enough.
Yeah.
My gambling is maybe going about maybe 5 mile an hour over the speed limit.
Yeah.
But
that's quite the gamble.
I do like more of the slot machine.
We're going to get into your history. 5 over is your number because you were a sheriff's deputy.
I was, yes.
What's your comfort number? Like, what was your we're gonna pull him over and just see what's happening? What number?
The official is speeding is always speeding.
Of course it is.
So, but usually you had to be going over like 10 over what I was going over.
Yeah,
what 10 you were over doing. What you were currently doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if you were going 6 over, I could pass you at 15.
You
over.
could, yeah.
Going 75
probably
in a
isn't suggested.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends. Speeding in a school zone is different than speeding on the interstate.
Did you ever have somebody try to race you in your squad car?
One time, Landon Dean.
Oh, yeah. That was exactly the name I was going to come up with.
This is great. But
was he in his purple car?
Landon, his Camaro.
Oh, okay.
And he had to go to dare school. So instead,
Butch might have talked about this Camaro a couple weeks ago.
It was a black Camaro. And Landon drove it, but he didn't want to drive it to dare school out in Missouri, so we switched cars. And I drove it, and so I'm sitting at like 3 and 38. And I turn left, and a car pulls out, the good ones, and you can just see rolling smoke. And
it was Danny.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's probably pulled me over, to be honest.
I don't remember it. I try to have a pretty good memory of who I did pull over and who I didn't. But so this guy just keeps accelerating. And, right there by the steel mills, it's only 30 miles an hour. So he gets up to about 85. And I finally pull him over. And it was like this look of amazement that there was a police officer behind him. And that's how I found out how Landon actually wrote all his tickets. It was kind of like fishing in a stock pond. It was it was so easy. I was like, I should just do this every day.
Nobody sees you. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody sees you, But I enjoyed my time.
Landon pulled me over one time, and
Shocking.
He didn't give me a ticket.
Well, there's a first.
What a good park board president.
You must have done something. You must have been polite or done something well.
I was, and he even commented on my car. I had a diesel Jeep Liberty. He thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was extremely nice.
I always say, sometimes I knew the cops on the other side, so I didn't have any, negative law enforcement experience with them. They didn't pull me over. But other people had different,
I've
interactions.
Never had a problem out of the Newcastle Police Department or the Henry County. In fact, I was throwing water balloons at skateboarders one time by the old YMCA. And I was probably 17 at the time. And we were in a vehicle.
Wow,
it made the most sense.
You're 17 and you're throwing water balloons at skateboarders.
Yeah. We might have had some issues. So we throw a couple water balloons at them.
That is a planned crime because you can't fill a water balloon in your car. They're premeditated.
Yeah, there was intent.
We filled them up, not really knowing what we were going to do with them, but figured we could find something to do.
Everyone just fills up water balloons with no intent whatsoever.
It was hot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing I go to.
You need to cool down?
Get a water balloon.
Give it a little pop,
Yes.
So
inside a car.
Yeah.
Give it a little pop.
There's these skateboarders that were by the Y, and they were videoing each other, doing cool tricks and ollies, and thought, okay, well.
You thought it would be really cool to be in that video with the
Let's throw water balloons
at them. Exactly.
So I don't remember which Newcastle police officer witnessed us throw water balloons at them, but needless to say, they were able to videotape us getting a really, really stern lecture from this Newcastle police officer. And
I hope it's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's too bad Danny's too old for YouTube to exist because that would have been
luckily
amazing.
He just let us go. And he said, next time you want to do stupid crap,
make
sure there's not a cop watching. Like, that's actually really good advice.
Life lessons.
There's a tip from your Uncle Lair.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. So
we were segueing into a little bit of Adam's background. You were born and raised here in Newcastle,
I was.
Indiana. Did you graduate from Newcastle?
I did, yes, 1998.
So did you know Kenan Gray from your high school experience?
He was my assistant principal.
There you go.
Yeah, good friend. I consider him a wonderful friend, yes.
Why is he running against you then?
Well,
That's ridiculous. You were there first.
I think...
I floated the idea that I was going to run for this office, then you filed, and then here comes Kenan.
I think he filed the last day.
Yeah.
But the more, I think you can't go wrong having the more people that have different mindsets, different backgrounds, different thoughts. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, but you've been waiting on, the guy to retire since your whole life.
You were born in
1979?
I was.
He was elected in 1978?
I mean,
yeah.
my whole,
your entire
literally
life.
my life, I've been waiting.
Yeah, you've been waiting patiently.
Yeah.
Living in the
I didn't know
district.
it. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
My whole life, lived a square mile.
Little 6-year-old Adam was sitting there in his bed going, man, I wish that Richard would just retire.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't my principal, but his wife was my teacher. So
You went to Westwood?
I did, yes. I was a Wildcat, yeah.
Very cool. I didn't go to school. Kind of a drop. I dropped out after the 6th grade, I guess is the best way to put it.
I made it to 3rd.
Yeah. My sister never went. Homeschooled after that.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of quitters.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did go back for Ivy Tech and Indiana Wesleyan, so I got those worked out.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, you skipped it completely.
Yeah.
That's what I did, Danny.
So you were interested in politics. You were watching this, watching from afar.
I was interested from a young age in politics, yes.
Did you always grow up a young Republican?
I mean, I tend to have a lot more Republican views than any others, but I'm also open-minded.
Okay.
I think closed-minded is really a bad thing.
Did you do any work volunteer campaigns or any of that stuff?
I was a page.
Yeah,
I did that.
Did you page for Tom Saunders? Or?
I did.
Yeah, I think everybody in this town
we both did that.
Yeah, I did. I also enjoyed speech.
Okay,
had some inspirational speech teachers.
Yeah,
Mr. Robbins was a wonderful man.
Tony,
I did the speech and debate team.
Yeah, I did. I did the same thing. Yeah, I had I was there for Mr. and Mrs. Robbins' last years, and then Mrs. Hitson took over, and I did that as well. So I had a wonderful. I mean, very inspirational teachers in Newcastle. I was very blessed.
So is that whenever you left for college? What was kind of the deciding factor? Why did you decide to come back to Newcastle or Henry County?
Well, I mean, I didn't have a mindset that I was going anywhere.
Right.
I didn't want to just move away. Some people all live their whole life in high school sitting there going, I hate this town.
Yeah.
It is what you make of it.
Yeah, it seems like everybody that I went to high school with is like, I hate this town. I'm leaving.
And 90% of them still stick around here.
Yeah,
so sometimes that just shows you the attitude is not necessarily.
Well, a lot of times they go somewhere else, and then they're like,
always come.
This place is a little bit worse. I need to go back.
But all of us have our part in crafting what the hometown is.
Yep.
And I wanted to come back to do my part. I enjoyed it. I mean, I wanted to get into law enforcement, so I got hired at IPD in Henry County the same day, and I figured IPD was a little different than what I was used to. I mean, not saying I wouldn't go there.
All things equal, though, let's be at home, right?
I didn't have to learn the roads. I did the Albert Einstein approach, pluses and minuses, just wrote it all down, and next thing you know, pluses outweighed the minuses, so I stayed here in Henry County.
There you go. So, damn it, Dakota. That was so
I think
awkward.
that means you owe me a soda, right?
I bought you 4 beers. They're in your fridge.
Okay. That
Downstairs.
works. And a printer.
Use the term beer lightly. It was
They're very
55.
Yeah,
so
it's a select.
That's one beer.
I don't know, and I don't even know if that's a gesture of friendship of giving someone skunky beer.
I bought them for him at his bachelor party back in November, and now I've brought them to his house. I've been storing them for you. I'm going to waive the storage fee.
Yep.
You're welcome.
I'm sure there's a born on date on the bottom that should probably be paid attention to.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I don't want to end up like your mother and open it up and it be stale and flat and nasty, and then I just get mad because it doesn't taste good anymore.
Maybe we'll drink them together this week for content on the show.
Okay.
We'll have some 6-month-old beer and see what happens.
There you go.
Anyway, so the other cool thing you do is you volunteer. I assume it's not paid. Is it paid? Minor league baseball coaching?
It's not. No.
Yeah, I was going to say if you're making
Minor
money
league-
off the minor league baseball.
Is that like up in Indianapolis you coach the bats in Louisville?
I have a wonderful team. Coach Kyle and I are the coaches of the minor league team, and we're the Cardinals. So we have a great group of kids. Very diverse from like 5 to 8. A lot of various skills in there, but we're really coming together as a team. It's nice to see. It's fun.
So it's like Little League.
It is.
Not,
we do the pitching machine league.
Yeah, it's not like 1A.
No, we're not a farm team.
Yeah.
We don't have a bus.
Right.
We're working on it.
You've got a Honda Odyssey.
I have a Honda Odyssey, but I can't take all my kids in that.
Some actually have to Uber.
Somehow just strap them to the roof, man.
Various forms of transportation.
All that extra cargo space up there.
Yeah.
So, and then from Newcastle Chrysler High School, you went to Hanover.
I did, yes.
You followed in the footsteps of our governor, our vice president now.
Yes. Several people went there.
Yes.
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson, yeah.
I saw him. He was there.
Was he?
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
You meet his brother?
No, just him.
All right. His brother tried to pick up a chick that used to work with me back in the day. He literally...
Was he strong? Like, how heavy was her?
No, it was more the other way. He actually tried to call his brother on the phone, get Woody on the phone, and have him do the bidding. Danny's never asked me to do that for him.
That's pretty funny.
That's kind of...
Hey, do you want to talk to my brother Jeremiah?
Once we get big enough, he'll be like, hey, my brother's Jeremiah of the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast.
Yeah,
you want to talk to him?
It's just being resourceful. He just understood that his brother was pretty cool and wanted to use him.
Yeah, hey, So, Hanover.
Yep.
You went down there. You got a communications degree.
Yep, economics.
Oh,
Both.
okay, all right. Yep. I was going to say, I misread that. Yeah, you got each.
Yeah.
So one of each.
Notes?
Yep.
So microeconomics, macroeconomics. Are you do you stimulate the economy by breaking a window? What's economy? The economic worldview for you?
Breaking a window.
In a capitalistic society, you have to spend money.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't encourage saving.
Saving smartly.
Yeah. All right.
Saving smartly to spend.
You're not Robert Reich over here.
No.
First, you're twice his height.
I mean, yeah.
Is he really?
He's not very tall.
Reich could fit in your pocket.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
No.
I just see all of his dumb videos all over Facebook.
A lot of times, if you'll see the people you can't judge their height seems to have videos that have nothing of reference in them, so you don't know.
That's it, yeah.
Like Andre the Giant with the beer the other day.
I think Vern Troyer and Robert Reich could have looked each other eye to eye, man.
What? Man.
God rest his soul.
Yes, it's the late Vern Troyer.
Yeah.
It was a rough week for Newcastle. First, Freebird Eric died, and then Vern Troyer, and
Barbara Bush, man.
And
it
then
comes
of
in
course
groups of
the first
3.
lady.
They say, yeah. I mean, that's true from the law enforcement days. 3, 7, and 40. Man, that's true. If you got past 3, you didn't want to make it to 7. Bad things happen in those pairs.
3, 7, and 40.
Yeah,
you jump all the way to 40.
Yeah, it just doesn't stop.
Oh my gosh!
No, I mean just what I was
I
saying
think those
is,
are the roads he had to patrol. Highway 3, I-70,
and US 40.
And US 40.
Yeah.
You stay out of Dunreath; it's dangerous.
They did have a train wreck.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was bad.
The Shady Stevens song, man.
Yeah.
The Dunreath County accident.
The Dunreath Railroad accident.
Yeah. Okay, we're done.
That was good. My singing abilities aren't any there.
Dakota thinks he's good.
I think I am. And after a few beers, then I will get up and I will sing some cake songs. I'll probably be doing that in Nashville here in a few weeks.
Perhaps.
Depending on where Danny takes us.
Yeah. We're working at Top Golf, maybe.
You never know. I've got a bachelor party coming up.
Do they have
getting married?
Do they have
in July.
karaoke at Top Golf?
They should. I'll bring my own little box.
Yeah, I've got a karaoke box.
Great.
They can't say
bring that
no.
along.
Yeah.
We pay.
Yeah,
we're customers.
It's a capitalist society. You have to spend the money, right? There we go. Full circle. Here we are back at it.
Stimulate the Nashville economy. And there's a good chance if I'm golfing, I'm going to break something.
Yeah.
Just don't fall off.
He's not good.
So you went, after you left Hanover, you went to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy.
I did, yes.
So that was, whenever you decided to go to the Law Enforcement Academy, was that kind of like you decided to pursue that career at Hanover, or how did that process work?
I worked at the jail, part-time, and then that led to getting on full-time at the Sheriff's Department.
Was it a nice jail back then?
I have a unique perspective. We'll get to that later, but I have a unique perspective on the jail because I think I'm the only one that actually worked there out of any of this.
Yeah.
The sheriff obviously knows.
Right.
But, yeah, I worked there.
Yeah, you got firsthand knowledge.
I do, yes. Firsthand stories. But, and so...
You know all of the hallways.
I do, and
In
all
the
the
closets.
blocks. The blocks, yes. Trustee by all those. But I decided and was sponsored when you got hired. Within your first year, you're required to go to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, and I did that, and I was class of 01149.
0149.
Yep, 01. So it's that's a year.
All right.
And then the class is 149, so it was the 149th class.
All right.
There
So you
you go.
graduated the Law Enforcement Academy the year
I did.
That's a lot of classes.
It
in a
is. So
year.
they started in the 70s. I'm not sure, early 70s. There's a couple guys that used to, Danny Gregory, a couple of those guys were one of the like 7404, some of the really low numbers. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Who was sheriff when you came on? Was it Kim?
Kim was the sheriff, yes.
Yep.
I came in
Commissioner
right under
Crump was sheriff.
right under during the
Harold
transition time of Harold and Kim. Yes.
Okay. All right.
There's a group of us hired.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
And what was the process like? I guess you graduate the Law Enforcement Academy, apply to be a merit deputy, and then you go before the board. They pick people, or how's that?
It's a little different order. You apply, and then you become a merit deputy sheriff, and then during your first year of employment, you then get sponsored to go to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So the county basically sends you down there.
They do, yes, and then you become a certified police officer.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really neat.
It was pretty cool.
What can you do before then? Like while you're waiting? You just
you can
ride
still
around?
you can still be a police officer. Yeah, there's like a pre-basic course and certain trainings that you get, and then you're kind of turned loose. I had a field training officer.
Do they buy you a car before you graduate, or do you have to?
I did have a car before I graduated. Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was lucky.
Yeah.
I graduated right around my birthday, so it was kind of cool.
Ah, that is neat.
But yeah, I had some good times there. I enjoyed it.
You left the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, and then you also told us that you went to this Hoosier Boys State.
Yes,
and I'm
was
like,
cool.
what in the world is that? Whenever you told us, I'm like,
Hoosier Boys State. If you did a little research, it was. I did that in high school. You're nominated by some teachers, and it's where a lot of your junior boys get together. I went to Indiana State. That's where it was housed. It moves around, and it's cool. It gets a lot of people who are interested in politics and stuff like that together, and you have some classes and seminars, and it's a fun time.
that's awesome. Yeah, I looked into it whenever you said that, and it seemed like it was an awesome program.
It was. I was honored to be selected to go.
Yeah,
and I went and had a good time and met some friends, and it was a fun time.
So that goes back to what you were saying earlier about always being interested in local politics and things.
I have, yes.
I'm sure that really just fueled the fire for you.
I did.
You were like, man, I can't wait till Richard just retires now.
Yeah. I mean, I did like the mayor for the day type thing in school. Always took advantage of those things. I mean, I always spoke to people.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I grew up, Bob Paget, who used to be the sheriff a long time ago, was my neighbor, and I used to go hang out at his house.
Okay.
But, yeah, I just talked to him. He was a good guy.
That Westwood Power Center of Government over there, huh?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Everybody. The mayor lives over there, and then you've got.
Well, I don't know if the mayor lives there. I think he has a vacation residence
I guess,
on 125 West. I'm not sure if it's
Residency is a state of mind.
Right. I don't know if he actually lives there or not.
I've
I think
been
he lives
checking.
I think he lives on the 11th Street address, but technically he does. I see him in the neighborhood. Yes,
It's only on the weekends. It's fine.
Only on the weekends. I think it is the summer vacation home. Yes.
Yes, it's like the Florida White House.
It is. Yeah,
Very similar.
Yeah.
The Florida
Comfort.
White House.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I'm not careful, they're going to annex my neighborhood in, and I don't want 3 times the property taxes. They're already going to raise my sewer bill by $30 a month just for the privilege of flushing. So I don't need any more trouble.
Well, flushing without putting your stuff somewhere else.
I
You
have
say white privileges.
White estates
Exactly.
privilege.
I actually thought about this, and I think that we have the perfect solution for the white estates people.
I got a letter in the mail. They've obviously solved the problem without me.
I'm going to start. I'm going to start selling composting toilets.
Oh, there
for
you go.
whoever doesn't want their water bill to go up. You can just use the restroom on some wood chips.
We're going to opt out.
Yeah,
So Dakota's able to sell stuff, but I can't on the podcast.
Apparently.
that's how. That's how it works.
He's an original. He's an OG co-host.
Yeah.
This is episode 54
My
for Dakota.
picture's on the cover art now, Danny.
Well, it's because you designed it.
Well, to the victor goes the spoils.
Yep.
So enough about composting toilets. Let's talk to our guest who's trying to get elected.
Oh no, it's fine.
So you did 10 years with the sheriff's
I
department.
did. Yes.
And then you had a medical your service time ended because something happened
did.
and you had to change careers.
I did. I actually pulled over a car that had a mobile meth lab in it.
Aren't you lucky?
Unfortunately, I was not.
Yeah.
And it blew up.
Oh my
and
gosh.
almost killed me. Sergeant Gary Wilson saved my life. Always indebted to him.
Yep.
I still talk to him. Thank him every day. And I inhaled the anhydrous ammonia in my lungs, and so my lungs don't expand very well. And then so I recovered from that.
Another reason why you don't do the mini marathon.
Another reason.
Yeah.
That's why I run. That's why I drive the marathons.
Yeah.
Yes, it makes me feel better. I participate in
sense.
marathons by driving.
Yep.
And then I came back to work and got in a little scuffle with a guy and dislocated and pretty much shattered my whole shoulder and had several operations and decided that I think the insurance company decided for me that I was no longer going to be a police officer.
Well,
So-
thank you for your service.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
It was good. I enjoyed it. But
Those are-
it was right in front of Westwood School.
Okay.
And
It's a rough crowd over there.
I know, yeah. So I passed out because I couldn't breathe. And
That's where the meth bus was.
it was, yeah. They just I actually stopped them over by 3 and 30A, but they decided to go for a long time and then stop right there. Some people asked me why I stopped them there. I was like, I tried not to.
Yeah. I didn't try to do it in the school parking lot, I promise.
I didn't right before school started, but yeah. So when I stopped them, they had a mobile meth lab in the back, and it messed me up pretty good. And,
Did you notice what was going on?
I did not. It was just, there was a
Is it like a 2-liter bottle or something?
No, that's the 1-pack method. This was the real method. This is the house burner method.
This was Breaking Bad. In a fusion or a tempo or something.
It is. It was in the back of like a S10 and had a hard cover on the back.
Gotcha.
So when it exploded, I didn't know. And I was just lucky that Gary was there, saved me. But my last parting thought was, I was like, well, maybe they'll name the school after me, because I went there and I was like, I was at peace. I lived a good life.
Wow.
I was thankful, and so that's. And then I woke up in the hospital.
Wow, that's nuts. That's what your mind thought of.
Yeah.
Wow.
I told everybody I loved them, and I was at peace.
Huh.
I mean, I didn't see a white light. I guess maybe I'm not living right. I don't know. I can't speak to the nature of a white light, but I didn't see that. But I was at peace.
So what hospital did you end up in?
Henry County.
Okay.
Yeah, had some wonderful EMTs and paramedics that saved my life as well, and did my thing.
And how long ago was this?
April 16th of 2002.
Okay.
A long time ago.
Well, a few years ago.
2012. 2002.
Right after I hired on.
Why are you questioning?
Oh, okay. I thought it was 10 years.
Yeah.
I missed that part. No, I got my timeline wrong.
I did my years of service was 10. This is a long time ago.
Oh, okay. So this happened early, and then the shoulder thing.
Yeah, the shoulder thing. Yeah,
right.
I retired. Yeah, I've been retired. I've almost been retired 10 years.
Gotcha.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. So that happened early, and then
you
had your shoulder
career,
deal.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So they took care of me, and Workman's Comp did well. I don't have no complaints.
Good deal. So then you pivoted from that into the automotive world.
I did, yeah.
Working on putting out little the seats down at the big Japanese factory on the south side of town.
Yeah, TS Tech. Yeah, I've been there 7 years. Enjoy I mean, it's challenging. We are a just-in-time facility, so we make the seats for the Honda Civic and CRV, but also we make component parts for all the Accords, all the Odyssey, all the Civic. All the CRV, so like 85% of Honda is made. Like component parts are made in that building out there.
Oh, that's
kind of
awesome.
It's kind of cool.
It's neat to see full circle things like that. I go in and out of factories on a daily basis in machine shops, and I always appreciate seeing different procedures and how just things are made.
Right. I mean, we all enjoy the how it's made. That is kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that is how it's made. You're like oh, okay. And but it's neat. Mm-hmm. It's challenging work. I mean, we still have a lot of hands-on work.
Yeah.
That is thankless. And I try to thank our associates every day for their hard work.
And automotive is tough anyway. There's so much pressure.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have an inventory. I mean, the same day we make the seat, the same day it's in the car.
Mm-hmm.
That's why awesome. You guys have to be close to within an hour or two of the assembly line.
I mean, Honda required you to be within 45 miles, and they put a ring on there, and TS Tech decided in Newcastle.
So we've been talking a lot about like land use and stuff with candidates and things. Do you think that Henry County could really use another manufacturing facility like TS Tech? Is that something that's important?
I have two approaches.
I vote yes.
Self-serving.
Salesman Danny.
Yes. I mean, I look at it as...
How dare you want jobs in this community, Daniel Paul?
If every employer in Henry County added one job, just one job, that could be very impactful as well. But also, if one factory comes in, Boar's Head, we've been blessed with some of these wonderful investments. Mm-hmm. I mean, you always want more. But also, I mean, look at our unemployment rate. Henry County is 3.6%?
Yeah. Yeah,
there's 5%.
The whole state is low.
Yeah, thees 5% of the people don't want to work anyway.
5% is considered full employment. That's kind of frictional unemployment.
Right. So
or is it frictional? It's people that are changing jobs and people that don't want to be in the workforce.
All you have is job seekers because they're always looking to go somewhere else. You don't have like a stable employment environment with that, and it leads to wage growth, which sometimes is unsustaining because the value of the product hasn't changed. So your expenses keep going up and up and up. So then you come to the business of just trading dollars.
And at some point you get to the point where the community is going to start growing.
That's the goal.
I really do think Henry County is about one major project away from having home construction.
It has to.
And that's going to be, to me, that is like the indicator that we're back. Like post Chrysler, that Henry County and Newcastle is back is when we see another development like a White Estates or Landmark where you have homes being built.
And if you go down to Shelbyville or Greenfield, the manufacturing they have in those areas is far more than we have. It's actually really surprising how it's obviously improved a lot with Crown. You have places like High Flex, they've got a second location now in Knightstown. Draper's done expansions. Boar's Head's new. I mean, TS Tech's, 12 years old?
10 years, 10 years this year, yes.
So it's definitely a huge improvement.
I mean, we could hire 40 people tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's our
with
need.
Jobs you have open.
Open jobs. Mm-hmm. That's not expansion. That's just requirement.
Mm-hmm.
What's your barrier to entry? Well, is it qualified people being able to pass a drug test? Is it people that are interested?
There's not one indicator. Yeah. It's all of the indicators. I mean, you have
because we have 3% unemployment,
right? I mean, you have 5% of the people that don't want to do this, and it's definitely the employee market right now. As far as if you want to go somewhere, you can go somewhere.
Oh yeah.
If you have a particular subset of skills, I mean, recruiters will knock down your door every day.
Yep.
If you provide something that someone's looking for, then it's you, and that leads to wage growth. I mean, it's always good. But sometimes you have to have sustainable.
Leads to wage growth. It leads to an increase in the housing market. Leads to an increase in just property values, things like that. Your local economy stimulates so much, and so much of that, the base of it is the jobs that are there.
I agree, and if you look at the growth of, like, let's say Indianapolis. Indianapolis, the downtown used to be this, there used to be some businesses downtown, and now it's become more your entertainment district with the ring around it of your townhouses and things like that. And then Greenfield has really expanded with the,
Greenfield, Noblesville.
Right. Your rings are growing. And we were just at that next ring away.
Right.
We just have to have the mindset of that we can do this.
Yep.
I think we need to be doers. I think sometimes the impression out there that we are content with how we are. I think if we stay content with how we are, the ring will pass us.
Yeah.
I mean, we are perfectly we have Fort Wayne, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Dayton.
Yep.
You put an X between them, that is where people want to be. Because when suppliers come in, like Greenfield, you'll be in your business. Their suppliers, their tier 1s and tier 2s, have to be a certain amount away because they want them close. So for every job growth you get around you can be job growth you have inside as well. For Henry County.
And every time you have a Boar's Head locate here, you have the trickle down where realtors do better. Your grocery stores do better.
Yeah. We got
the barber shops. Yeah. Exactly.
And look at when Metaldyne and Chrysler were here, there were a handful of machine shops. Now the only real machine shop that's around is Magna Machine over on Messick Road.
Right.
And it's a great shop, but it's the only one that's around in the area.
Correct.
And it seems like it had taken 10, 12 years just to get away from the UAW mindset that the town and the old
old school thought.
Yeah, exactly. And
now it's still very much here.
But we're getting a new workforce, which is helping a lot of the manufacturing out too.
And it's right, wrong, or indifferent because that was a lot of the way they were grazed, and indoctrinated, and that's the way they were taught.
Yeah,
and it's right, wrong, or indifferent.
We grew up in a UAW family, and
right. It happens.
Yeah, it's great.
And
Mike Broyle is the retired owner of Magna's, and here letting us know it is the best shop, not the only shop. It's the best shop. Danny.
I talked to Stu today.
I was going to say we do business with Magna as well. Hi, Mike. But the real inspiration for the community should be one at a time, because sometimes if you chase the big dreams, and I call the big dreams of your 500 to 1,000, like employers, like Boar's Head's wonderful. TS Tech's wonderful. We have all this stable workforce. But if you go out and you just establish yourself for all those, I think it leaves in the, not necessarily dust, but in a afterthought of all the people, just like you say, all the suppliers, all the employers of Henry County shouldn't be left alone. And I'm a big fan of one at a time.
Right.
If every employer in Henry County added one job, that is impactful for every one of those jobs that they added.
Yeah, but the question that goes along with that is how can you get them to add one job?
Right. I think that it's a mindset that all of us have to change. We have to inspire people to stay here. We have to, the negative Nelly aspect of, I just got to get out of here to get a good job.
Mm-hmm.
There are opportunities outside of Henry County. We cannot deny that. But there's opportunities inside Henry County that we don't need to deny as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, Is there a particular set of sub-skills that is offered in other places? Yes. Like if you have a specific skill, let's say robotics. Okay, that's my background. Yeah. So very few opportunities in Henry County for robots.
Right.
TS Tech has 77.
Yeah, there's phonic machines all over this place.
Right. You understand? I mean, they just do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you go to Greenfield, there's probably 10 or 15.
Yeah.
You go to Indianapolis, there's 35.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, there is a limited amount of people that mess with the FANUC robots. At our facility, there's 8.
Yep.
So there's 8 people. Okay? But you go to, each one of those is growth. But But
if you're in Newcastle and you have those skills, as an employer, you don't want them to leave because you don't know that you can replace them. You'll take care of them.
And they're actually, it's a development skill. Yeah. It's like a machine, like, we talked about magnet, like machinist trade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a developed skill that doesn't just come out
an art.
Tomorrow. Yeah. I mean, it takes time. So you invest in these employees.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you brought up a good point of we're just about there for growth. Look at like a lot of these additions. They all spurred at the same time.
Yep. In the late 60s.
Yep.
And 50s and 60s.
I mean, we're talking 50 years ago. So why can't we just do that now? I think sometimes it's that leap of faith. And there are some people in this community that have taken leap of faith on projects that have taken a lot of what I consider hits to the chin, sometimes both personally and anti-project.
Yeah.
Like the skate park's a wonderful example.
Yeah.
I mean, you could complain. A lot of people complained about that. And now go by there at night.
Oh,
it
yeah.
is the busiest place.
It is
I
busy.
see it all the time. I mean, I pass there every day for work.
And that is,
got all my
packed.
water balloons ready.
Got all your water balloons ready, yeah.
Danny's egging those or water ballooning those kids, got them into a skate park. He got them off the streets and into a park where they belong.
But I mean,
good job, Danny.
That was people that did that project took it on the chin, and people were very negative to them on a personal level.
Yeah.
And look at the benefit that did.
Yeah, we talked about that last week about how you may have differences with people,
right?
But there's no reason that you should negatively attack a person's character because of a difference of opinion.
And I think we need to challenge all of us to stand up and not necessarily support. You don't have to support every project,
right?
I mean, we're not all the same. We have differences. But just support something. Just do something.
Yeah, do something to be positive, right?
It does.
Whether it's coaching Little League Baseball or being a 4-H leader or attending meetings.
Just do something.
Do something to contribute to your community.
I have a lot of issues sometimes with people being the negative side of it without offering any or counter idea. I just don't like it. And there's never a counter option. Now they're like, hey, what's another opportunity? Let's do this instead. It's always just no. And it always stops there.
Well, you spoke of open-mindedness earlier, and I think it's very good to be very open or open-minded. And I don't really care what someone believes as long as they have a thought process that can support their belief.
Exactly.
And that's what makes America great, is the difference in opinion. Again. But yeah, as long as you can have just a thought process and you think through your ideals.
Justify it.
And justify it, then that's great.
And, like the revitalized downtown. I mean, look at those people. They've done, taking it on the chin as well. Some of these people are like, oh, no, don't do this. And then
I'm ready for some barbecue.
I'm saying that
I'm ready for Dakota and I to reopen 14th Street in the middle of the night one day. I think it would take about 90 seconds.
We'll be the heroes of Newcastle.
There's three barriers, and you'll be the heroes of the community if somebody does it. And then once traffic's on it, who's going to stop you, right?
Just shine a turkey on the wall of the building, too, like a bat signal.
Yes.
Yes. It's great.
Shine it for the world.
I'm just saying, if somebody wants to be the hero, it could happen.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, but, those people, those are individual projects, but they're impactful for them and others. Sometimes I might not agree with them personally. Like you say, I'm kind of waiting for the barbecue place as well. My mouth has been watering for quite some time.
I even went to Greenfield to try it out.
Yeah, Richmond as well. I mean, I'm ready.
City Councilman Jerry Walden says he wants to go through first. I think Jerry Walden and Aaron Dickin should quietly go out there one night after dark and just move the barriers as city employees.
Yep.
Take care of it. And then when they need to put a dumpster back in the way or they have real construction they're going to do, then put it back in there. But until then, move the things.
Yeah, I mean,
let's have some freedom in this town.
Let's have some progress.
Anarchy. I want some anarchist city councilmen. That's what I want.
I would say controlled anarchy.
Well, I mean, let's start with real anarchy, and then we'll if they don't earn it, we'll take it back.
You're going to go like all the way up here and then throttle it back? Yeah.
They still have the stoplights in place.
That's just a teaser. Then you're like, that makes you be rebellious and be like, I'm just going to go straight here because it says
Jerry
I can.
Walden says, don't double dog dare me. I will triple dog dare you right now.
As long as we are the media that gets to cover it.
I want to know that it's done, and we will let everybody know by the end of the show, Jerry, that 14th Street's been reopened.
I want to live stream
Thousands of people will be in the streets just celebrating. Couches will burn like the Hoosiers won the national championship and Steve Alford hit the shot.
You want to know how to solve the large trash problem? Well, that's how, Jerry.
That's
reopen 14th Street.
You reopen 14th Street, the couches will burn, and there will be nothing left on the streets.
You can have a couch burning party on 14th Street.
Bring them to the studio somewhere north of Q Avenue, and we'll burn couches out here.
I don't think Zach would appreciate that.
But I think we all yearn for decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, indecision sometimes is a spur of like no development. Let's just go. Let's just do something. I mean, 14th Street's not going to change. Like we know that
it is. There's going to be a little curve in it.
Yeah, well, but let's do something. Because I think that the stagnation, which, I mean, I don't live in the city. I travel through there all the time. But the stagnation leads to what I consider when you walk, like you just see, like it's always constantly looking like it's construction. Right. So you get to that, at what point is it finished? And what is the plan? And I'm a firm believer in multi-year plans. We seem to be we don't have like a lot of long-term goals, like where in this year we're doing this and then phase 2 and then phase 3. It's always, we might do something.
It's kind of purpose process payoff.
Exactly.
And if you look at that at a county or government level, that's really the way everything should be looked at.
It should be.
So do you support the comprehensive plan that the county invested in and has been working through? It's on the commissioner's desk now.
Right. There are aspects of every plan that are both good and bad.
Sure.
I think there needs to be a little more tailoring to a very specific Henry County. Sometimes we've all dealt with consultants. Sometimes consultants will either write the program that you want or copy-paste the program that someone else used. So usually, in my opinion, consultants give you guidelines. But I want people to take the forefront and say, this is what we're doing in this, and put my name on it, or our name, as meaning my name, Henry County, then taking a consultant's word and then saying, well, this is what the consultant got us, we agree.
Yeah.
That's a way to do things, but
you're not taking any ownership.
You take no ownership. And I'm for Henry. I mean, I'm for Henry County. We should take ownership. The first level of pride is owning something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right, wrong, or indifferent, let's own this. This is our community. I mean, I have 4 kids. I don't want all 4 of them to leave. I built it forever.
One of them you kind of like. You only want 3 of them to leave.
Yeah. It just depends. Yeah. It depends on the day which one I'll select to pick. No. But, I mean, I want them to stay here. And because that's growth. And we need to own this. This is our place. I mean, we're kind of all in the same generation of the torch is being passed. I mean,
you're stealing it away from the baby boomers.
Well, but their guidance has got us this far.
Look what they did.
$20 trillion in debt.
I'm not saying that everyone made the best decisions on earth.
We've all made mistakes.
And a doughboy that's being moved.
We'll
get to that. We'll get
through it
later.
together.
It's okay. But
we have 36 minutes and half a page to cover, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, talk fast, right? But that is something that is important to all of us, is that we just need to do something. Because this is ours. I mean, just like you guys. You guys are doing something, right?
We try, at least.
No, right. But you're doing something, right?
Yeah.
This is something.
I would consider it.
That's what
running for office, creating a media empire.
Yeah, that's right.
Providing the voice of a turkey on the internet. We do a lot of things.
But it all started somewhere.
Yes.
All good things started somewhere. And
Jeremiah's dining room.
I mean, look at, like, I always joke because I'm a big Disney movie fan. Pixar fan.
Oh, Pixar.
Yeah.
Disney. Oh, man.
Well, I mean, just because they bought Pixar. I mean, they're all good.
Yeah, but they're very different. We're going to have a real disagreement here.
You don't like Monsters, Inc.?
No, that's Pixar, though. I like the Pixar stuff is great. The Disney is like...
You don't like Remember the Titans?
He's actually right. the Disney studios usually kind of like...
He's never right.
Then as the brother, you can say that. And this limited argument we're going to have here, Disney movies are the in-betweens to the blockbusters of Pixar.
Yeah.
But if you learn how Pixar started, one meal, they all sit down there, and they all start writing these ideas, and the whole world was born.
Yeah, I mean, the Monsters, Inc. and Toy Story and those are, the new school animation versus the hand-drawn,
Right.
Whatever.
I'm glad we're covering this. Yeah. These are the issues that voters care
This is
about.
what's important.
Hey.
Enough of the damn wind turbines.
Just to let you know, a lot of the parents out there that are listening will completely understand that these Disney movies are pretty good sometimes.
All right. So a few of the major topics we've asked everybody about. Transparency. Everybody talks about transparency. This county's got to do a better job of having transparency. And this is going to be a little bit of my final thoughts. And Dakota had a field trip. I don't know if we'll cover it today or tomorrow with Peg or how much of this we're going to get into. But
he had a field trip and posted it.
But he poor Dakota. He journeyed down.
True story. I got my information. I was curious.
Of course,
as
everyone
everyone
was.
I got my
Everybody
information from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that extra $1 you got in your account, man?
I tell you what, it's going to take a lot of time and effort to figure it out.
You can mail one thank you note.
But if you know, I'm a self-funded campaign because I am a believer in that if someone gives you a campaign donation, they expect something in return, whether it be influence, whether it be a seat at the table. They'll always have that in their back pocket. Now, aside from parents, they're always supportive of every endeavor you do. Like, hey, jump off that building. I don't know if it's a good idea, but if you want to, I'll take you to the hospital.
Congressman Ron Paul said, your money is better in my pocket than the donor. So even if there's a questionable donor, it's like, I'm not returning that. I'm going to spend it on my campaign, man.
Right.
I'm better. It's better with me than going back to those people anyway.
It's funny when we talk about these campaigns and then you're talking about all these congressional and everything else. They're talking about these billion-dollar campaigns.
Yeah,
$1 billion campaigns.
So you've raised me almost 4 to 1. You've raised $750 out of your pocket.
I did.
My report says I raised $200.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I didn't raise it. My wife got mad at me for spending it. Yes, I did.
She
make
should
a
have
purchase.
thought of that before you filed.
She didn't have time. He was the first one to go.
I didn't file like right away. I waited a couple of days. But yes, my intentions were well known right in the beginning. Last minute candidates sometimes show that they were just a last minute candidate. I was in it from the beginning.
So you, what would you do? What's your platform for transparency in the county? What kind of things? What steps do you think need to be taken?
First of all, we need to get into this day and age of multimedia.
So we should definitely hire a courtroom stenographer and somebody to draw pictures of what Kim Kronk looks like.
You can do whatever you want to. His picture's everywhere. I'm pretty sure if you don't know what he looks like, you're on your own there.
I know, but you never know what he's wearing.
I'm not.
And you don't know what Ed's looking like.
I don't know.
Ed's got those eyebrows.
His Facebook picture is a little bit dated.
Plus, like Tom Saunders back in the day, he used the same picture for like 20 years. Tom's finally got a new picture now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you pay for that like headshot there, you try to use it. That's responsible.
Yeah, I need to get a new headshot. Mine's fat, Jer, and I've slimmed down a little bit. I'm a little smaller than I was.
Do you want to hold your head differently so that your chin doesn't come?
I'm down like 50 pounds since I had my picture taken.
Yeah.
It's like, I need to.
Is it
anyway.
like your driver's license photo? Everybody wants.
Oh no, I got a new driver's license photo. Yeah, that one looks good. That's sexy me.
Yeah, I mean, we need to get into this generation as far as with multimedia and definitely social media, because a lot of people find out the news, what I consider delayed news.
You want to wait on the newspaper 3. Dakota was in a race. He literally was in a race. I said, Dakota, this is going to be front page. This is going to be a big story. You need to go down there Monday and get it so that you can have it out Monday night because it was going to be in the paper Tuesday.
Yeah, but my thing is, if you singularly source your information, that's where you lack transparency. Case in point, like you went there, other people. There are many people don't get their news from singular sources anymore. They seem to be able to go all the way out and get whatever they want to. Twitter, Facebook, word of mouth. Then there's traditional newspapers. I mean, there's not a TV market, but I don't understand what today's.
We are the TV market.
But I don't know.
You're watching Boss Hog of Liberty on the Weird Libertarians Network with Jeremiah Morrell, Dakota Davis, Adam Bowman, and Danny Morrell.
But this setup that you have here.
Yes, sir.
Could be duplicated very easily.
Easily. You could put this in the county courthouse.
And everyone could see it.
Everybody watches this now.
I think what happens is without involvement, you lose the you get isolated, where you have your traditional people that are there and learn, but then the people who have jobs, not saying that people don't go to jobs, that's not what I'm saying, but people have previous commitments, kids, things like that, still want to be involved, but have a real information gap. And that's the first thing you do is that. I mean, as a county council, I don't understand. I'm a firm believer in the office holders are elected for their office. They present a budget. We go through it line item by line item, publicly, I don't care. And they need to justify what is the return on investment of Henry County taxpayers for this budget. I'm all about what are you getting for this? That's justified services or, there's operations. You're going to operate. We know that. But what is your return on investment for your taxpayer dollars?
Right.
And that's what I'm about.
Am I getting roads? Am I getting services that matter? Am I getting access to a courthouse? Can actually see what's happening with government?
Right. And
am I getting adequate police protection or fire protection? Those are the things that we need that matter.
But a lot of those things you don't even think about until you need them. I mean, when you need a police officer, you want them there. When you need the ambulance service, you want them there. When you want the fire department, you want them there.
When you need a road culvert, you need to be able to cross that stream.
Right, but when you want a pothole fixed, you want a pothole fixed.
Yeah, but you don't think about it unless you hit a hole.
These things but I want everyone to be involved in this. I've never understood while we don't have. I mean, when we pave a road, we know how long that's going to last. That needs to be put on a list and planned for. We need the comprehensive plan for paving that everyone knows when their road gets paved, when it was paved, when it's on a list, the priority.
You want a list of actually when is my road going to get paved?
If it's 2032, it's 2032.
You want to know where you stand, not am I going to win the lottery and is my road going to get done this year?
Right. Or am I going to...
Is Adam Bowman going to get elected and 200 South is going to get paved because he's on the county council?
Or is my wedding going to happen and you're going to pave my road?
Yeah.
All those things are stories that you hear. But I don't understand. While roads can happen, they can deteriorate. But part of your problem with the roads is we need to get the water out of it. How many times do you go by and you hit a pothole and you look around it and it's the side of the road is higher than the road? Water is the enemy. That has to be out of there.
Yeah.
That's the important part. We have to focus on getting the water away so you can maintain the subbase so that the road is stable. That's what's important.
I've always held Rush County up as an example of having great crowns on their roads. But and that sounds like a joke, but it's true. If you drive Rush County's roads, they they're similar size and they've got about a third of the population.
Right.
But their roads, if you drive on their roads, Danny, you lived there. They're
together.
We did same house.
Yeah,
we grew up together.
It's amazing.
Shared a bedroom. You've
Bunk
got
beds.
this
Side story.
Yeah. The bunk beds, then we split them. At some point,
Is it
we
like
had
the
to have
Step
our space.
Brothers bunk beds?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we
That's
made room for activity.
That's a wonderful, wonderful movie.
Yeah. Anyway, Rush County does a great job with that.
But that has to happen. Just because we put an inch surface material on a bad road, it's
going to blow up in 2 years.
It's Bondo.
It's kind of like having a bad hair day and putting a hat on.
Yeah.
Still got a bad hair day. We need to, and I want to do it right. Like you say, even if it takes more time. But if we tell people, I understand you're not happy with 2032, but 2032 is when it's going to happen. Just get it out there. This is when we're doing something. Just a plan out.
It's just like in manufacturing. As long as you put it out there, there's no surprises.
But surprises happen. But those can be addressed on a more immediate need.
Well, and what the county's done is that they have, and maybe once again, this should be on a website where it's easily available, and you say, here's the paving plan. If you read the Courier Times, basically the newspaper of record for our county,
right.
Their goal is to make sure that our arterial roads, so the Brown Road, Greensboro Pike, Wilbur Wright Road, Dublin Pike,
named roads,
make sure those roads are have good quality.
Correct.
So that you're no more than 2 or 3 miles from getting to one of those roads so that you can get into the city, get to the highway, get to commerce. Correct. Your personal road may turn to gravel. It may be junk. It may be chip and sealed. But within 2 or 3 miles, we're going to have you on a premium road, on a high-quality road.
As long as everyone understands it.
Yeah.
We might not all agree with it, but as long as there's plans. But look at, I think it's Wayne County right now doing that precast road with the precast.
INDOT's got on 40. They're doing. They're trying to do precast pavement, so they're pre-making road panels and dropping them into place.
Let's have some fun challenges. I think challenge spurs innovation. So let's pit all these people against each other and have some miles of paving. How would you do it? Challenge and see what it does. I mean, if you look on 38,
first job in the state like that.
Yeah, if you see on 38, they're test mile. Let's do this, and it'd be proudly paved by the wonderful people of the county highway that do a wonderful job.
Betsy was in favor of volunteer road crews. Are you going to have volunteer road crews?
I'm for inmate road crews.
I would agree with that.
I'm a big fan. Okay. I was a part of that with community service. But if you have one county highway employee that's dedicated, and you have one inmate who's dedicated to their job, that's one county highway employee getting with the assistance of two. If not, I have to put another county highway employee with a county highway employee. So I could double my amount of what I get done by having volunteer or voluntold services.
Mm-hmm. And you may come away with the skill.
It's all about rehabilitation, not incarceration. I mean,
yeah,
I dealt with the same people all the time. It was so annoying. Then you deal with their kids. Then you deal with their grandkids. And they come and bond each other out like it's normal, and you talk to them on a first-name basis. It's about rehabilitation, not incarceration.
So we've talked about roads. We've talked about business development. We talked a little bit about the budget, but we didn't really talk about the jail. You've got first-hand experience on the jail.
Yeah, I think I'm the only candidate that actually worked there.
Yep.
So
what needs to happen? There's a study going on, as always. We've got a study.
I mean, we're 5 years. I'm tired of the study stuff. I mean, we're 5 years away from a plan. We're not getting any better. Let's make a decision. We have smart people that live here and work here. We can do it ourselves.
Do you think we need to build a new jail? Do we need to rebuild the jail we have? Do we need to move the county home? Or where the Youth Opportunity Center has just had their grand opening? What's the solution?
There's two ways to do it. I think that the current jail facility has outlived its usefulness. The jail design has changed. They're more pod-based. Like your prison, like your GO, like the new prisons they build are pod-based. That jail is not; it's linear-based. I think it's time to seriously do action and not a plan or anything. We have smart people. Let's get our heads together. Let's make a smart choice. But I want to focus on rehabilitation, because if we continue to work on incarceration, then we can't build a big enough jail. But if we work on the rehabilitation, I mean, our court system with the Veterans Court, that is an amazing, truly pilot program that our county is doing. But let's expand that. Let's have a mother's court. Let's have a father's court. We already have a family court. But why would we not take each one of those segments and have specific needs for that? Because if we don't focus on rehabilitation, what do we want to build? A 300-bed jail? Is that enough? If we keep this up, it's not.
Well, and a lot of those issues are also because the state has changed who has to warehouse folks, right?
I was there for the transition of when we used to house Department of Corrections prisoners.
We would make a profit because the state was responsible for them, and Henry County had extra space. So we would, when Kim was sheriff,
we had extra space.
We had additional people in the jail.
Yes.
And then we pivoted to, in the last 5 years, and the different demographic things have changed with regard to who gets arrested and who ends up here. And I think the majority of folks that are here, as I understand after talking to Sean Rao and I think to Commissioner Baker, 80%, 90% of the people that are sitting in our jail are awaiting trial.
That's true.
It's not that they're sentenced and they're sitting in the jail. Correct. It's that they're awaiting trial and they haven't bonded out.
Not guilty.
And so those folks, they truly have to be warehoused. You can't let them on the street. They've not been released by the judges. So those are the ones you're stuck with. Long term, it seems like we need to put pressure back on the states to say, hey, don't saddle every county in the state with these, because Fountain County's having to build a jail, Delaware County's building a jail, Hancock County, Rush County, maybe Henry County, likely Henry County are going to have to build jails to deal with the laws you've created. Mm-hmm. We need to send them back to state jails.
There's not a lot of listening up.
Yeah, well,
more a lot of dictation down.
Yeah, you have to have the relationships with the legislators to say, hey, this is ridiculous. You've now loaded the gun and put it in the hands of the county council, where they have to look at making seriously difficult choices. Are we going to pave roads? Are we going to have head counts in any of our county departments? Or are we just going to pay to warehouse prisoners because you've changed the law?
Right, and that is a very valid point, because that happens. Now, a lot of time is like, I call it dictation through legislation. As far as you're going to do this without the resources or the funding to do what we just made you do.
So on episode 53, Kennan was on, and he said that he was in favor of passing a tax increase.
Lower tax.
We have the public safety tax, but now it would be a jail tax, 0.5% or 1%. Yes. Is that something you're tending towards, or do you think there's a different solution?
I think that funding option is a part of the pie.
Okay.
I don't think that we should singularly source any construction project with one singular tax, because it becomes too burdensome. I'm sure there's money we can find. I'm sure there's money we can generate. And I'm sure there's a tax that we could probably put on.
Some sort of a tax.
Yeah, low a tax.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. The other than that, anything else on the jail?
No.
Stay out of it.
I mean, it's kind of yes. I wish we could solve the problem by not having a jail.
Right.
Because ultimately, we should all try to do well.
Mm-hmm.
But we know we're not. But we must work with the judges, the prosecutor, and everyone to have a jail that serves everyone's needs, not just the singular needs of a couple individuals.
We understand on the live stream we're having some sort of an issue with the audio. We think we've got it fixed, or Dakota's been resetting things here and there. If you're losing bits and pieces of the audio, we encourage you to go back to the podcast form. We do have a good quality version of that, so we will have audio at least over there if you've missed anything. And if Dakota gets crazy, we'll try to stitch things back together. All right, so the other two major issues that people have been talking about, not necessarily just in our district, in District 1, but across the county, wind farms have been huge.
Big, yeah, it's
Everybody's talking about wind, and it's not really a county council issue without except for abatements, which may come across. So what's your official wind position?
I'm not the biggest fan of abatements, period.
Okay. So you're a no on wind abatement?
I'm no on a lot of abatements.
Okay.
I think it's a tool in the bag. But it's like a card game. So if you dangle abatements out there, you're not playing poker. You're saying, here you go.
It's like you have a race to the bottom, right? Every community has this.
Here you go.
Everybody has an economic development corporation, and everybody says we're going to give you an abatement to build a TS Tech or a Boar's Head.
Correct. Which everyone doesn't.
Right, and so that's kind of an even playing field. Everybody's close to a highway. Everybody's close to everybody's trying to be shovel ready. Those are all of the things that that these communities are doing. Henry County is no different than Delaware County or Allen County.
No, I mean it's like selling your soul sometimes. I think the economic development does a wonderful job, but they have a couple bullets in their, let's say, proverbial gun. But everyone automatically just kind of like lays everything out on the table. Says, I can give you this.
Me too.
I can give you this. I can give you this. I can give you this. So what happens is you have who wants to be the winner of the losers?
Yeah.
Who gives the most up to get this?
Well, in a lot of ways, we're a Me Too society. It's not that, hey, I can do this better than Dakota. It's, I can do the same thing. Why don't you just do it for me?
Correct.
Yeah. So you need to separate yourself, show why you're of value, and then move on.
And I think pride in the county and pride in your workforce and pride in your development can be, which we have most of those things. That could be your biggest selling factor. I mean, everybody's going to give you everything. But what do we bring to the table as a community to draw them here?
Right.
Like TS Tech put it on a map. They just, that works. I mean, the guy that picked here, drove down, that's where they wanted. We were within the X that we wanted to be. Mm-hmm. The abatements were all secondary, but we were located where we want to be. So we want to make ourselves attractive.
The win for TS Tech was Honda being in Greensburg, and then it built out because of that.
TS Tech selected it because Honda built in Greensburg. We had to be within 45 miles.
Yep.
And we were within 45 miles.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as like the wind farm, it is very passionate. It's a divisive. I mean, you have households that have divisive, arguments over, some people like them, some people don't.
Have you and Mrs. Bowman fought over wind farms yet?
No, we have not.
You didn't try to put one in the backyard?
Quite frankly, we have not discussed wind farms at the Bowman house for myself and my wife. I mean, we've driven and seen them. I've tried to do my research. Not tried, I've done my research. A lot of peer-reviewed studies because people have passionate arguments against this. But as far as the county council role, I have heard or seen no abatement request. So until the county council would be presented with that, then that's where we are. I mean, my general statement of abatements is I don't like laying everything out on the table before we go to a negotiation.
Yeah, I think on the wind issue, I know everybody's very passionate about this,
they are,
and there have
rightfully
been,
so. It's okay.
In 75% of the council races, you seem to have an anti-wind candidate.
All of them are anti for something.
Yeah, well, and what I've seen is and there's 4 candidates. Peg, who's coming on tomorrow, Ed Tarantino, who was on a couple weeks ago, Susan Hoon, and Kennan, who was on last week. They're they've they're raising money together. They're definitely co-branded. They're on similar signs. Ed's race obviously does influence that. In the commissioner's race, that's very much tied.
Yes.
The 3 council races, I feel like everybody has I've not found a candidate yet that says, yes, I would vote for the abatements. So it's kind of a non-issue. I don't know.
I appreciate that because I feel that the county council's role in this has sometimes been skewed. The only participation that the county council could have would be to vote yes or no for an abatement.
And there are 7 members on the council.
Correct.
It would take 4 to put an abatement in place.
Correct.
And then the council does get 1 position on the planning commission.
Right.
Whether or not that's one of the new rookies, whether it's our seat or another seat, you don't know that would be there.
Yep.
So there would be a potential that one of those individuals would be there. Right now it's Robin Reno Fleming, who's in the 2nd district. She is up for re-election. That's the race Chad Malakota is running in. And before that, Steve Duggar, who's in the 3rd district, who's Peg and another individual and Betsy Mills are in that race, along with Jesse Riddle and Dakota Clark as the Democrat. There's a lot of people running out there. Western Henry County is like there's just a zoo of people running for council. But it's okay.
I'm glad to see people step up to the plate and do this. If it's they're passionate about it, stand up.
You have no idea how happy I am that people are interviewing for these jobs. 4 years ago, Darren Jacobs ran in Nate's race.
Good friend of mine,
and then the 3 Libertarians ran. Otherwise, there would have been automatic re-elections across the board.
Yeah,
I'm thrilled that people are participating.
Involvement.
And I hope that once people get through, and if there's any open races, whether it's the clerk's race, the auditor's race, the commissioner, there's nobody to face the Republican in the fall, no matter who that is. The sheriff's race there's nobody running for sheriff.
Right.
There are
automatic. It's the cheapest race.
There are absolute. There needs to be competition across the board, not just in primaries.
Yep. Because I think challenge spurs innovation.
Contact Dakota or contact the Democrat county chairman and get on the ballot in the fall if you haven't worked that out yet.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as my singular issues outside of the county, I think setbacks are very important. But we have to look at the totality of the project. There's a lot of good points either way.
All right. So the other big hot topic thing, once again, not as much of a council issue, but we've talked about it a little bit.
There's a lot of these polarizing issues that asking candidates.
It's like asking if we should have hunting of unicorns. Some of these things will never happen for the council. But how do you feel about hunting unicorns? Should we sell permits to hunt unicorns in Memorial Park if you can find one? And how much should they be?
I'm not a big fan of fee-based generation of revenue. I'm not.
Flat taxer? We should just have oppressive food and beverage taxes for everything instead of if you want to put in a quarter, see a duck.
Well, yeah. I mean, wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Put a quarter and you get to see a duck. I mean, I'm more about Memorial Park created for the masses, and sometimes when you become a fee-based, fee-based needs to survive. But yeah, we're not gonna. I don't want to get to the point where we have to pay to see ducks.
All right. So on the doughboy issue.
Yeah.
Do you have an opinion?
Yes, I do.
Okay, where are you at?
Okay, opinion I have is it's another polarizing issue.
This is like Ford and Chevy in the county at this point.
It is, yeah. Or
in a Mopar town.
Or Chrysler. In a Mopar. That's what I was going to say. In a Mopar town.
Talking to a Honda guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're all prideful. I'm a big fan of honoring the past. Sometimes needs change. Sometimes design intent changes. Me personally, I think a little plug out there. Kirsten Lang, Kronk, brought up a good point that
Patreon supporter, by the way.
Yeah, good. Went to school.
All right,
but
she's got friends all over this race.
She does, yeah. But she brought up a very valid point. If you remember, the condition of this was discussed. Which, if you do your research, it is very well known that the condition of this was known 20 years ago, and it fell by the wayside. And I'm completely. I understand both sides. Me personally, what if we have an area of honor that's accessible to everyone? It seems that people who are passionate from moving it have raised the necessary funds to do it. The location of it before this, how many of the people can really stand up and it was something you knew about, but how many people really went there? And is that the fault of us for not creating the atmosphere and the accessibility? But I'd rather create like an area of honor, because when we were kids, I don't know if you remember, do you remember climbing up the big hill to see the cannon?
You go to the top, absolutely.
You went to the top. You did that. But could an individual who was more time period oriented to that canyon, be able to go up there and see that?
No.
No, they can't.
No, because you might end up in the water.
I mean, it's a fast wheelchair ride down, but you understand. So they could have viewed that from afar. But if we had an area of honor that we could really do this right and have some really cool paths, and there's some really good designers out there that are homegrown that would love to take, potentially take on a project. Look at the Arts Park. What was it before it was the Arts Park?
Lumberyard.
A lumberyard. We're memorializing a lumberyard, which is really cool, with an arts park. But that was for certain individuals that took it upon themselves to create a wonderful atmosphere. Look how many people really use that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had a wedding reception there.
It's a cool place.
I got engaged there.
Brooks and Dunn.
No, Diamond Rio.
Diamond Rio,
Come on, get your 90s country music right. If you want people to vote for you.
Oh, yeah, my 90s.
You got to meet in the middle, man.
One of the band, but.
Got a puppy on a string.
Yeah, but that was.
No, you're right. I agree.
So it was, no one talked about preserving the lumberyard before it became the Arts Park.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's the Arts Park. So my opinion is, let's create an area of honor. Let's get a lot of these brainchilds that we have some really cool people.
So is the area of honor the plan that they've moved forward with in front of the Smith Building, or are you saying they should find a third solution?
That is one option, yes.
Because they're supposed to build this thing, and it's going to be there in July. It's coming quick.
Right. I'm more for an area of honor.
Okay.
But I'm also kind of like, that's why you go to the park board meeting.
Right.
And that's why you have a park board. That's why the park board represents people that are in your area. And that's why they're servants of you. I get a lot of sometimes I feel it's confused by the involvement after the fact, and to what I consider sometimes maybe potentially the wrong avenue, where this was discussed at the park board for a while. Those people on the park board are the ones that make the decision. Get with the park board. Get with the commissioners.
This was no secret that they were working on it. It was in process. If you're late to the party and your feelings are hurt now, that's your fault for not paying attention.
But I understand everyone's passion. I do.
Ouch.
I understand people's passion.
Yeah.
But sometimes passion, you can be on the losing side. But that's my opinion. And honestly, I don't understand. I shouldn't agree with everyone in the room. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't agree with every one of my constituents, potential. But I will have an opinion, and you can get that. You can help me persuade my opinion. I'll do my own research. But we're servants to the District 1. That's my choice.
So if you're a council member,
yes.
This time next year, and the Doughboy thing's still going on, are you using county money to fund trails to the Doughboy to find a third solution, or what's your plan?
If Trails to the Doughboy is true, there needs to be a lot of research. If you remember just the Wilbur Wright Trails, the Rails to Trails program, what was it, $450,000 for a mile? Yeah,
they've been. Jeff Ray's been chasing grants and grinding at that for the last half decade to get the first two phases.
And that's a wonderful project, and we all use it. Let's take that passion and see what else we got out there. It would be expensive to make a path that now with all the regulations, sometimes not the biggest fan of, but their intent of regulations intent is good. Sometimes just the application becomes bad. But let's just there. I don't understand. There are passionate people in this community. Jeff Ray's a wonderful individual for the Rails to Trails. We can sit here and name these individuals that have taken these projects on, spearheaded them, and have done their legacy with that.
Oh yeah, Kathy Hamilton and Steve Beckenpaw and those guys. Yeah, they've done great work to get us to the point where we're at now with not just the Doughboy, but the future Memorial Park and the plan that was presented in June of 2017.
Let's just look at historical. There was groups of people who got together and decided to create Morrell Park.
Mm-hmm.
They had no clue what they weren't flying machines. There weren't cars. We still had the interurban. Where's the Interurban Restoration Society? I think it's pretty cool. Those were neat. You hear the stories about them.
Going behind Walmart, driving around.
Right. On a four-wheeler behind there. Yeah, everybody loves the old interurban. But there are things that couldn't be imagined when these things were developed.
Yeah.
I don't want to disrespect anyone's intent, but also there needs to be the ability to morph and change with the times. And the doughboy is very popular in a lot of communities because it was kind of a time period era. If you look at most of the other doughboys, where are they? City centers.
Yeah, they're in cemeteries. They're in county courthouses.
Right.
The one that's most visible there's one in a cemetery in Delaware County, but then Owen County has one in Spencer, and it's on their county courthouse lawn.
Right.
It's 5 feet from a parking space.
Right. I mean, there's some things in our county courthouse lawn too.
We do have we have a number of memorials down there.
We do. So I mean, those are things.
We have the Civil War Memorial, and we have the Ross Lockridge plaque that Mark Schonauer helped get put there a couple of years ago.
Right. So I mean, there are areas to change, and there are areas to memorialize, and that's what I'm about. Accessibility to all.
So let's talk about your campaign. What have you been doing to get the word out? Are you walking Facebook? How do people support you? Learn more about you? Yeah. What's the skinny on the Adam Bowman campaign?
Well, I'm getting out there. I put some signs out there. I will be putting all my things. I mean, I'm not a shy character, but all my stuff will be on the website. That's launching next week.
All right.
Because unfortunately,
you've got $1 left. I'm just saying. You have to dig into that pocket again.
I might have to spend another $13.95 for some GoDaddy.com to host it. But you understand, I'm trying to do my best to run a traditional campaign. Self-funded. I don't owe anybody anything. To get out there and talk to the people and tell them what I'm about. And a lot of people already know me through my interaction with the Sheriff's Department, family. And that I just want people to realize that I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate for myself. My issue is I have 4 kids that I want to be here. I come from a family of 5. So I have brothers and sisters that don't live here. I have 2 sisters that don't live here. 3 out of the 5 of us live here. But if we keep losing 3 out of 5, it's not sustainable. And we need to attract new people and keep people. And I want to do my part. And I think the county council is the best way to do that.
Very cool. If people want to volunteer, get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Best is cell phone.
All right.
765-686-2944.
Very cool. All right. Any other final thoughts? Anything we left out?
All good.
We got you there. All right. Well, very cool. We'll hang with us for final thoughts, and we'll see. Yep. We'll see where this train wreck goes.
Yeah.
You got anything for us, Daniel Paul?
I don't have a lot of final thoughts. It was fun. It was great getting to meet you, get to know you a little bit.
Hopefully
we'll see you around. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A lot of ties here and there.
Yeah.
So it was an enjoyable time. I appreciate being a part of it. So and I'll probably see you tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a good chance we'll see each other at some point.
It'll work on your car.
Yeah. Oh, I'm podcasting.
I might see you tomorrow, too.
Yeah, you want to stop by? I'll be working on his car.
Chevy Tahoe needs a hub. Left or right, we don't know.
Just needs a hub.
We can take bets.
I think it's driver's side.
Yeah. That's our guess.
You won't be there. It's driver's side.
Sure. I'm going to lose the bet. Dakota Davis.
All right. I guess my final thoughts are going to talk a little bit about the voter registration office. Went down there. The ladies down there are so helpful.
Very helpful.
They really are. They're really nice ladies.
A lot of tenure down there.
They try to be helpful, and they are very helpful when I go in.
With the power that they have, they're very kind. They really help a lot. They've as a party chairman who is doing all this candidate thing and putting people up for office for the very first time, they've been extremely helpful. I'm pretty sure that they know me by now. I've been up there so many times in the past few months.
Oh, God, Dakota's here.
Exactly. I at least try to give them a call before I head up there, like, I'm coming in.
Like a preparation.
Yeah.
Brace yourself. Mr. Davis is coming through.
Yep. That's exactly how it is. No, but they have been a big help, but I did go up there, and there was a rumor that if you were the chairman of a political party in the county, then you can go up there and access the CFA4 files for all the candidates for free.
They're the campaign forms that everybody fills out.
Right, yes. The first one.
So in 2016, I went up as the vice chairman of the party after the election was over. So this is probably mid-November, and I said, hey, I want copies of them. And they ran copies of every one of them for me and provided them at no charge.
See, it might have been because the election was over. Maybe that's the difference.
Perhaps.
See, but so we thought that I could go up there and get them for free. I went up there, and she said, no, that's not true. I ran into Chad Malacote. He was up there, and he was trying to get his copies, too. And he was like, no, I can't get them. And it's $1 per page. And Adam, this stack for all the candidates is like 3 inches thick.
Well, each one of them could be up to, 8 or 10 pages?
Mine was 4 pages. I raised $10, and it was a 4-page report.
Yeah,
I itemized everything.
I think that Nate Lamar's was 15 pages. They had a ton of individual small donations that he kept track of as itemized. I mean, just
he's a very detail-oriented individual.
You think?
Yeah.
He is. And so actually I got his printed. I had them print his out because what I had to do was ask them for a pen and a piece of paper and rifle through every single one of them and write down all of the relevant information. And they close at 4. I get off work at 3. So
you had to write fast.
Yeah, I really did. And
cursive or shorthand?
Got to the very end, and Nate's was the only one I hadn't done. And I was like, I have a 20 on me. You're just going to have to print this off. Because it was literally 4:00, and the other ladies in there
you
were
could see
walking
gathering
out
the
door.
purses, and you could look at the faces.
I'd already heard them be like, "See you tomorrow." No, crap.
You're keeping this person over.
Yeah, it's like just print this out.
So this is my frustration, and something I've talked about today. I feel like as a county, our culture is stuck in about I felt when I was on the park board, it felt like we were in the 70s. Maybe we're at 1990 as a culture in the county. Maybe we're hanging out at 1990 where we could fax things in. And I went in there Friday of last week.
Like go down to Kroger and fax it because of the only fax machine
you could go there and you could fax the county government.
Yeah.
I couldn't email my report in. You could bring it in person, or you could fax it. There was no email address available. You look at Wayne County, and every one of the reports are available by candidate online on the county clerk's website. They've scanned them in, and they're ready to go. They're very available. Last year, or two years ago in Henry County, I was able to go in and get them printed at no charge. And, we had the information. I was very frustrated for Dakota to go in and be told, no, you can't get it, because it's in the Justice Center. The Henry County Justice Center is behind. You know this. You were in the sheriff's department.
Don't take your
You can't take your cell phone unless you're an attorney and you're a special class of person. You have to leave your cell phone behind. You can't bring a digital camera. So you have to go in and either going to pay the county the $80 or $90 to get a copy of every sheet of paper, which is crazy.
I call it Area 1215.
Yeah,
it's not Area 51. 1215 Ray Street.
Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating. And I reached out. I worked on Rex Bell's campaign. I was his treasurer for governor 2 years ago. I've been an officer in the county party. I've run for a state representative. I run for county council. I understand this document very well. Mm-hmm. Doing the campaign finance reporting.
I had to use whiteout.
Done it on all these different levels. Every bit of it's available online at the state level. Just jump on the Secretary of State's website. It's there.
Yep. Which
is the equivalent of the county clerk in this case. So I contacted Abby Taylor at the Indiana Election Commission and said, hey, what are the rules? What's this supposed to be? Because I don't know, and I just want to understand what are we supposed to play by? And apparently, every election board sits to decide. So every county government decides what we're going to do. So if there's no rule, there's no response, there's no guidance, then I think we need to use as county council candidates the soapbox that we have and say we got to step it up, guys. I mean, we got to. Secretary Barry or Clerk Barry over in Wayne County has every one of them online.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Wayne County is awesome.
I want to see that done at our level because there's no reason. We have scanners that we pay for with county money. We have a county website. We put minutes up online. Why can't we do that with campaign reports so that everybody knows so that Dakota doesn't have to take an hour? I didn't realize you spent $20 or whatever it was
to buy $15, man.
To buy those.
And broke the bank.
After the fact, I was like, the hell with that. I stuck mine in his Google document, and I released it as my campaign today. If people want to see what I did, it's online. You can go see it. Right. You can see my report.
And Mrs. Dorn in third grade told me I had really bad handwriting. So I'm a big fan of typing it. Plus, it has F7, so you can check your spelling.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that gets back to a culture and a transition that young blood that uses. I mean, let's just look at the way that society has changed. Your traditional newspaper used to be the proverbial Bible. Nowadays you have what I consider instant news.
Yeah.
And so bringing Henry County, I mean, it's not the fault of the office holder. I mean, they're just upholding the rules and regulate, what that's set forth. But there's nothing that says we can't change that.
But you've got a seat on the board as well, right? I mean, as the clerk, you've got a seat on the election board.
Correct.
I really want to one of, and then the political chairman, the Democrat and the Republican chair, because they finished where
their hand in that
they
decision.
finised where they did in the Secretary of State's race. If Mark Rutherford finishes second in Henry County, by the way, Henry County is going to have a Libertarian on the board instead of Democrat or Republican. But it's not like these decisions are made for somebody that's outside this community. We can decide as Henry County residents that we're going to do this.
It just takes it's a driving force.
Yeah. So anyway,
I mean, it's sometimes amazing the archaic, but that's just our generation. I mean, it's almost like going to the library and wanting to find, your library cards and like flipping through, now you just go to the computer and type it in.
We say as a county that it's going to charge $1 a page. It's not state law that says it has to be $1 a page.
That's established policy for
the commissioners have set an ordinance that says it's $1 a page. Well, the commissioners can also say, hey, we can scan it for free.
It's kind of a little bit of the fee-based revenue that I talk about. I'm not the biggest fan of that.
Yeah. So anyway, that's our soapbox. Do you have anything else, Dakota?
No, that was it. Except support us on Patreon, and we will get a twice done episode of Tinfoil Time to you next week.
It'll be even better the second time.
It'll be very polished.
And Flutie did win the Heisman.
1984.
Yep.
I think, was he an ESPN 30 for 30, I think, right?
He was not too long ago.
Yeah.
From the sports desk, I just felt like you guys should know.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
Well, we know we had some audio problems for the folks watching online. The MP3 that we saved will be pristine. It will be pristine. So download us on iTunes. Find us over there. Or podcast first. The video stuff is that's all extra. That's the cherry on top. But we're a podcast first, so you can watch us over there.
It's one
People
thing
are paying for this. It should be better.
Well, it's one thing to have a radio voice, but then when you put the face with the voice, that's why you have video.
That's why he's losing weight.
Beautiful, glorious high definition. All right, that's enough of that. We will see you all tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, with Peg Steffendell in District 3.
Thank you for listening to the Boss Hog of Liberty, which is part of the We Are Libertarians Network. I am Chris Spangle, and I am the founder of this network, and I invite you to listen to all of our shows, which you can find at wearelibertarians.com or by searching for these in your podcatcher. The flagship show is the We Are Libertarians podcast, where we apply libertarian principles to current events. The Brian Nichols Show is a conversation amongst Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, as they talk about what is happening in the news. And we have many other podcasts like The Chris Spangle Show, Upward, The Cost, Raw Audio Politics, Miranda's World, and Tad Talk, which is quite a ride. So check all of these out. Go to wearelibertarians.com and you can check out all of our great podcasts. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at wearelibertarians.com.